The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast. I'm here with Addy, and we're going to be doing today, for your very special enjoyment, we're going to be doing our very first commentary track. It's Jaws, a Film Addicts commentary, and this is just amazing. I'm so happy to be here doing this. This is my favourite film. Addy, how are you, mate?
Hi, I'm Addy. I play the shark.
He does, actually. I play Roy Scheider, and I don't mean I play Brody. I play Roy Scheider in this movie. And Addy plays Bruce the shark, or the great white turd, as Steven Spielberg came to call it, because it kept sinking every time they tried to use the fucking thing in the water. But yeah, we're very excited. It's our very first commentary. Had to do it about Jaws, because it is my favourite movie, and it's too good of a picture just to do an episode on. You've got to commentate. So what we're going to do is we've lined it up. We're 10 seconds in to the picture. This is the 2 hour and 3 minute version, by the way. There is a director's cut. We got a little confused about that last week. There's a director's cut that's like 15 minutes longer or something. I didn't even know that was the case. I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, that's what's up. So 2 hours and 3 minutes. We're 10 seconds in. Currently, we can see the Universal Pictures logo on the screen. So if you want to sync up, I'll do a 3, 2, 1 and go. And then on go, you press play. Otherwise, you can just listen to it. Just listen to us talk about silly shark nonsense. So are you ready, Addy?
Yeah.
All right, let's get ready to do it. We'll give you a second, folks, to get ready, and then we're going to do it. Okay, here we go. Let's hunt some sharks in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and we're away. As I said before, full disclosure, this is my favourite film of all time. It's a perfect movie. There's nothing I would add, even though there is a 20-minute extra long version. There's like a 15-minute longer version. I don't know what's in that, but I don't care. This is the film for me. I don't remember not having seen it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is there any movie for you like that? Or it's just like...
It's like, honestly, it's the Lord of the Rings for me.
Yeah, it's always been in your life. Yeah. I love it. Lorraine Gray, one of my first crushes. Kyle Gottlieb is the screenwriter. He wrote a really good book called... it's sitting on my desk in my office. The Jaws Log, which is basically his diaries from the production period. A fantastic Steven Spielberg one here. Says, oh yeah, just passion in front of the fire.
Okay.
Bill Butler. And you can see so much of his DNA. You can also see it if you watch his first film, Dune. Dune. Whoops. Steven Spielberg's Dune. Getting back to last episode. You'll be able to hear that tea heaps because I'm wearing a lapel mic. Just his visual tango, like his dance moves are so present and prevalent throughout this. Oh yeah, that guy wants to get it wet. And they're near the ocean, so it's going to be good. What snacks are you eating?
It's an off-brand Toblerone.
Oh my God, what's it called? Toblerone? Tobler-do-ron-ron?
It's called Cocoa Triangle.
Oh, shut the fuck I'm peeking out my microphone. Sorry, everyone. Can you fucking hold that up so I can take a photograph of it? Coca Triangle? Hang on, wait. Gotta be fucking kidding me. That's so low rent, man. That's so low rent. Oh, fuck. Forget whatever else happens. Yeah, how about that side boob? And I mean on him as well. What a great shot. Directly into the sun. Coco Triangle. Come on, Aldi, or whoever did that. You gotta be kidding me. Where did you buy that?
7-Eleven.
Fucking 7-Eleven. Kiss my balls, mate.
It's also like
Anyway,
80% cheaper than actual Toblerone.
Yeah, it's probably 80% more filled with pubic hair as well.
I'm eating this.
Whatever. Nice, some almonds, nougat, and pubes. This woman, who's currently swimming right now, whose name escapes me, but I looked her up a second ago, Susan, I think it's Backlini, she passed away on Saturday. This Saturday just gone, May the 11th. Isn't that fucked up? Now we're doing it. Wherever you are, Susan, bless you. Great underwater photography here. Invented new camera mounts and stuff so that they could be on the surface of the water and under the water for some of the later beach stuff. Really, really cool. Now, you've only seen this recently.
Yeah.
Because I said, watch it or we're going to break up. And you watched it and you liked it more than you thought you would.
To be fair, though, this is a completely different movie than the one I watched.
It's like 16 more minutes or something or whatever the fuck
This
it
is 2 hours, 3 minutes. The one I watched was an hour 20.
That's crazy. Pretty fucking brutal.
I did that. That was me.
Lying on the beach?
No, the shark.
that was Addie the shark. Nice dissolve. A fantastic Roy Scheider. Just such a supreme talent. He's in some of my favourite movies, this cat. How about that side boob? This movie is filled with side boob. That's amazing. There's just babes everywhere. Fucking young Richard Dreyfuss is a babe. This guy looks like your grandpa, but he's a babe. That dog's a babe. Everybody's a babe. Yeah, he's in this, obviously. Jaws 2 is actually not that bad. I don't recommend it, but it's like if you're an completist, have at it. It's in the yard, not too far from the car. He's in The French Connection, the William Friedkin picture with Gene Hackman about a couple of New York police officers bringing down a big drug kingpin from France. Fucking awesome movie. That was one of those movies that I saw that made me want to be a filmmaker, And Sorcerer, which is another film directed by William Friedkin, which is about a bunch of mercenaries or, ne'er-do-wells who are hired to transport volatile nitroglycerin across a mountain range in 2 trucks. And nitroglycerin, when it gets wet and damaged, becomes, so volatile if you drop it, it explodes. It's one of the tensest movies. Like you watch that movie and you shit like a pencil every day for a week because your anus is, it's intense.
The best kind.
I love all this stuff. Sorry, what's that?
It's the best kind of anus.
The best kind of anus is one that is all puckered. How do we get into anuses with 10 minutes in? Christ. But then again, that's kind of what people expect. I love all this domestic bliss stuff that goes on. Like there's this and then the dinner later and it's so, like he takes the mug with him. She's like, I want my cup back. You'll get it. Like it's just the dialogue is so...
Real?
Like really... Yeah, it sounds like the way people talk, And really, there's no reason that this should be an A-class picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a B-movie premise. It's about a giant, vengeful creature of some description. Any other version of this movie and it's B. But something about it, like the timing and the pedigree of the writers and of the directors and of Brown and Zanuck, the 2 producers as well, like And the book was huge. Like, people took it seriously. Like, you could take this not seriously and it becomes Sharknado, you know? I'm serious. But no, you've got this great sort of lightning in a bottle of all these elements and stuff that, you know, might not have happened. Like, there was a bunch of people who said no to Quint, who Spielberg asked to do it. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I know that I think they might have even asked Paul Newman to play the Brody role, and there's heaps of different casting that it could have been, and it might not have worked as well. But something happened, like everything kind of crystallized, and you get this. Just such a remarkable feat, and this changed the way that Hollywood does business. Like, this is the progenitor of the blockbuster. It was the first movie that started to be advertised in the trades based on how much money it had made. Even though opening day, there was lines around the block. They didn't need to promote this. So yeah, I just, it's a real moment in time, a stitch in time, where everything had to happen right in order for it to work. Lord of the Rings is a good example of that too.
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
I think you were talking about this being a B movie plot. I think every other shark movie, except for this one, just classifies as B grade.
Yeah, I tend to agree. They've tried a few times to do it more seriously. I think it's The Shallows with Blake Lively that came out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Less than 10 years ago. That's, you know, closer to this in terms of its the way they're treating the material. But yeah, otherwise it's Sharknado. It's The Meg. That bullshit. I stand by my joke that I made when I was on the Podcast Assemble podcast with Tommy and DL, that the most unbelievable thing about The Meg is that Jason Statham is an alcoholic in that film and yet has the most cut abs you've ever seen. Like, those two things are antithetical. You can't be a massive alcoholic and be cut to, like, just completely shredded. It doesn't work like that. There he is. That's Kyle Gottlieb, the writer. After he wrote this picture, he went to a fat camp to lose weight while he was working on his next film. And I only know that because I heard an interview with him the other day. The weird bit of trivia. And this bit, how he's you know, he's not your typical hero. He's just this sort of avuncular dude who left New York because it was too violent. Like, there, he drops those, you know? Like, was that an accident? I don't know, because he's such a fucking good actor. Left New York because of the crime, wanted to come somewhere quiet, and all of a sudden people start getting eaten by a shark, and he's just doing his best, you know, he's just trying to figure it out. He's like Indiana Jones, apart from, you know, Indiana Jones is actual sort of masculine hero, but he doesn't really want to be in these situations. Indiana Jones is an adventurer by proxy. He's actually trying to preserve historical artifacts. And this guy's just trying to live a normal life and not be pestered by sharks. And yet you know, and he's afraid of the water.
Yeah,
that gets me. Look at those kids, just mints waiting to happen.
Also, that whole sequence with the town is very Inherit the Wind. Very Inherit the Wind.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, the mayor,
I'll have to take your word for it.
the president comes to town, and like this town with 500 people who are extremely religious, just like, go out there and our Messiah has come.
Jesus.
Pretty
that
relevant movie for like even the play that it was based off of.
Yeah, right. I remember talking about it when we did our best of. Look at that fucking jacket with the anchors on it. It's a serious jacket. This is an entirely one shot as well. So he starts in a wide, so you get the geography of everything. You know where you are in space. You know where everybody is. You know, they're sort of like closed into that side of the frame. So you get the vista behind them and you see that they're actually moving. And just people just smoking cigarettes on TV. I mean, it's on my TV, but in the cinema. This fucking coward, you fucking coward. the goddamn coroner who's like, yeah, it was a boating accident because the mayor's fucking on pussy whipped. Fucking, you're a wanker. Now we go into a nice little walking mid. And they fill the frame. And it's like, I'm sure that it's Steven Spielberg. I feel like I'm doing all the talking. I'm sure it's Steven Spielberg just being conservative and trying to get shots and then go into a nice tight close-up. I'm sure he's just trying to be conservative and make his day, you know what I mean? But in doing that, he developed this style and this reputation for being an amazing choreographer. Steven Soderbergh, the director, once posted a version of Raiders of the Lost Ark on his website that was completely soundless. All he did was he put the score for the Social Network underneath it actually, and made it black and white. And it was for people like wannabe directors to watch and to like look at it for blocking, like the way that he blocks the scene. And he's so right. Like just the specificity and choreography of how he puts shots together are just, yeah. Whether you like him or not, he's one of the best to ever do it, you know? Oh, Peppet. Fucking the worst casualty in this whole picture. I mean, of course, if you're a shark, you're going to eat that. He looks like a fucking Pop-Tart from below. It would. Ready? Look. You're going to see it in a second. It's a banana Pop-Tart. This is so trendy now to do this. These sort of sort of white passes. And also the other thing he did was in Temple of Doom, he had the opening credits title appear like behind Willie Scott when she's dancing and she's sort of standing in front of the text. That's so trendy to do that now. Way ahead of his time. Oh, this fucking guy.
Man titties!
Man. He's not man titties. Man titties is later.
Is he not? Damn.
No, I mean, he might have them, but we can't see. I mean, who wears jewelry to the beach? No, that's the other guy. You know about you, Chief. You don't go to the water at all. That's some bad hat, Harry. It's so funny. I've got the sound turned down, obviously, but I can still hear it in my head. I'm pretty sure the first time I saw this picture, here he is, the very man. Yes, it's cold. A lot of these people were just townies, just people who lived in Martha's Vineyard where they shot it, which sort of doubled for Amity, and never acted again. Like even the Kittner boys' mum, she was this was their only acting credit ever, and she's great in this. Do you know the Muffin Man?
No.
No? Oh, it's a shame. Oh, Pipit. I like the idea that Jaws the shark's just like, an hors d'oeuvre before I fucking eat this kid. Might just have a dog. Bloody delicious, mate. We're going to have a dog amuse-bouche. See, look, he looks like a Pop-Tart with legs. Nom 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 nom. Crunch. I never figured out that, like, you see I don't understand like what you're seeing there. It's almost, I mean, there it's pretty obvious, but it kind of like the fins kind of roll over a little bit. It's like terrifying. Great dolly zoom out. They're so hard to do in real life, even with autofocus. Well, for fucking hacks like me anyway. And I must tell you, in the sequels, in the third one, it's basically like Jurassic Park. They've got a SeaWorld type situation, and Brody's sons, one of them's running it and the other one comes to visit. So it's those two boys grown up, and they capture a great white shark, a baby one, and they try and keep it. And that's something about great white sharks is that a great white has never been held in captivity. I'm going to cut all this out. A great white shark has never been able to be held in captivity. They always die for whatever reason. They're too wild, I guess. And in that film, it happens and it dies, and a big mama shark comes to get them. It's pretty good. And then in the fourth one, his wife, so Mrs. Brody, goes on holiday in the Bahamas, and a shark follows her. It's like it's called Jaws the Revenge, and it's a shark getting revenge on her for Brody killing all of the other sharks. And Michael Caine's in it.
As a shark?
No, unfortunately not. Michael Caine doesn't. The shark eats a pontoon, like the lower part of a seaplane. It's fantastic. He's got a nice mustard jacket on now. Look at all this white fucking nonsense. Is there a person of colour in this movie at all?
I don't...
And when I say colour, I don't mean all these red-faced, middle-aged alcoholics. Look at them all. There's not one. There's fucking Jim Croce in the back there, Mr. Cutter. There is not a single person of colour there at all. One of the best introductions as well, like they're about to introduce Quint. One of the best introductions of all time. Like it's up there with, Marty McFly and Tom Holland's Spider-Man's really well introduced in Civil War. I just rewatched that recently.
I disagree.
You don't like the Tom Holland introduction?
I like the Tom Holland introduction in Homecoming with like his short film.
Oh yeah. You all know me. No I iron. This is where Seamus came from. God, he's great. There's also no reason he should be in this. This is an Academy... If he wasn't an award winner, he was a nominated actor. Fantastic. Another person sadly afflicted with, the disease that is alcoholism and gone way too soon. We were robbed of a lot of really great old man roles from Robert Shaw because of that horrible affliction. Well, he's just eating biscuits all the time.
Do you not do that? Like eat like crackers and plain biscuits? Just like that?
No, I do, but it's just an interesting character trait. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to be doing that. He's eating these lavash. I mean, he's probably not eating lavash. That's a bit... I'm not much of a wine and cheese man, but I know what lavash is. Geez, you see a lot of those mustaches around these days in 2024. Do they have a mustache craze going on where you are?
No, sadly.
That's a shame. It's fucking mustache city around here. Went to a party on Saturday night. Every other person had a mustache.
That's cool. What kind of parties are you
And that
going?
was just the women. Mustache parties mostly. Just come in and get your mustache on. There must be some deleted stuff with this dude with the orange hat.
Yeah.
Like, who the fucking he? Like,
he's too distracting
and
to
they've got
just
a
be
dog.
in the background.
Yeah, I know. And he's following Quint around. I love that. Great. Entering a shot with something, like starting a wide and then rack to a close-up of something. Fish in Distress is a really good band name. They've got a dog? That's the first time I've noticed that dog there. I've seen this movie 150 times.
That dog was on the bed.
Was it?
It was!
Oh, man. I remember seeing it in the yard when they go out. Fuck. Look at the papa. Oh, what a sweetie. Oh, that dog's really, really dead. It is, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
know.
really sad. It wouldn't have even left the 70s, that dog. It may have seen the beginning of the 80s, maybe. This is great. Just lie down. Want to get drunk and fool around. And that's you know, like, that's the way people talk to each other. You know, it's not this fucking overly romanticized version of what heroes and their love interests are. Like, she's got real agency, and it's just they're this married couple who have been together so long. There's like a simpatico there, and a gentleness, and a genuineness. Like, I bet they fart on each other, you know, in bed, just pop. Sorry, babe. Sorry, babe. And that's it. We're not having clams anymore. Makes you fart. I always thought this shot was really weirdly lit. Like, it's almost like it looks like the backdrop's not real, but it clearly, I mean, obviously it is because it was all shot on location, but it looks like it could be blue screen because they're too front lit.
Yeah.
And there's really sharp shadows. Like, I love this gag.
That might have also been because of the sunlight not being as bright, or the natural light.
Yeah, oh, of course. And it's also behind them as well. Like, they're having to front light them as if it's a porch light or something. But it just seemed a bit extreme. Every single fucking frame in this movie you could, like, print out and have it be as a poster. There will be large sections, folks, where things are silent, so sorry about that.
This is a commentary.
Yeah, exactly. It happens sometimes. I'm not always going to be talking.
Also, I just want to clarify, fighting in the same bed as someone is not the same as fighting on each other.
What do you mean? Like, what's the difference?
Well, fighting on someone is you hold them down, you fight on their face.
Is it? I'll have to take your word for that, buddy.
I hate that I know that.
You hate that you know that. Fucking hell. They're just the most wicked, and I don't mean wicked in the traditional sense. I mean in the more modern use of that word. They're such wicked animals. Like, they're just so fucking cool. Just, you know, it's like Hooper says later. They just swim and eat and make baby sharks, and that's it. And that's what they're like. They're perfectly evolved. The only thing they've done since like the Cretaceous period or some shit is get smaller. Because their body of water got smaller, you know. It's like if you put goldfish into a big tank, they get huge, but eventually they reach critical mass, so they can't sustain themselves within the environment. And I guess that's it. But, you know, like megalodons and shit, it's just what these are, but smaller. And there's some still big motherfuckers out there too. Like, there's sharks that are like, you know, fucking 15 feet long and shit.
Yeah.
Big ass teeth.
There's sharks that are like 300 years old.
Is that right? I don't know about their aging and stuff. It's probably right, though. Imagine getting to 300. I always like the idea of, like, there's stories about people who are immortal, just to see the time passing. There was a great comic book that used to get published called Eternal Warrior, and it was about a guy who was just, like, constantly in all these different wars and shit, like Wolverine, you know? Come on, MF. Don't know, I'm censoring myself saying motherfucker, but whatever. How was your fucking chocolate triangles?
I ate it.
Oh, you said that like kind of, I ate it. Oh, God, why did I eat it? Look at this motherfucking Popeye guy. Look at him. Who is this? Why is he involved?
Look at that smile,
Why is he
man.
in the picture?
He's so
I know,
happy.
He's a beautiful man. Such a beautiful person, but fuck. I love this guy. There's a great gag with him later where he's like outside having a smoke and he's Brody's trying to get his attention. He just waves at him. He throws things at the window. I'll bring it up. There he is, the main man.
Steven Spielberg himself.
Steven Spielberg himself. It's fucking weird too. Spielberg didn't look as much like this back then. He was a little bit more, he didn't have a beard and stuff at this time. Look at all those doggies.
Ooh, doggy.
I'm noticing all the dogs this time. I wonder why. Look at him, he's a happy boy.
Oh, there's one more back there.
I know, there's a lab back there. I hung out with my sister's dog recently, and little Peggy. She's lovely.
Welcome to Dogs, the podcast.
I just love doggies. They're just I love my cats, but fuck, dogs have just got a different kind of energy, you know. Shout out to Alex, my sister-in-law, who every year makes us a calendar and has some sort of theme. Last year, she photoshopped her own face onto famous works of art. It was hysterical. Like, she did the Frida one with the one eyebrow and all this kind of shit, and she was the girl with the pearl earring, and she was everybody at the Last Supper and doing the Scream, Ed Vugmuse's Scream. And here it is. This is great. Just having a smoke. Hi. Come in here, you fucking idiot. Jesus, I'm sided with you. He's like fucking Shaggy from Scooby. Split diopter shot there. Dual focus. So Alex, she makes these calendars, and this year she made one which is all movie posters, but she's photoshopped our cats into each one. So January was Back to the Future 3, so there's 3 cats, whatever. Next month, June, because I flipped over today to put stuff in, you know, the calendar for next month, is Jaws, but she's photoshopped a picture of my cat Paul, who when he's asleep and lies backwards has huge fangs, like he looks like a vampire cat, and she's photoshopped that onto the poster of Jaws. Spectacular. So well done, Alex. Another triumph. Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss, so great in this picture. I mean, he's always really great. He did a film before this in which he played like a small town Jewish huckster, like a con man. Let me just find the name of the film. Talk amongst yourselves.
That's a dog again.
There, yeah, he's sitting on the front. Yeah, I love that. Where is he? Okay. Jaws. The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz was the film, which came out in 1974, so a few years before this. And he thought he was fucking awful in it. Like, he thought he was terrible. And then, because he'd said no to this, and, for whatever reason. And then he saw that film and he's like, you know what, I better actually do that film because it sounds like it's going to be decent and people are going to make some decent money off it. And I think I'm terrible at the moment. And I'm sure he wasn't. I haven't seen Duddy Kravitz, but how bad could he be? Tells him off for smoking. It's a pretty good dead arm.
Very Stranger Things season 1.
Yeah, well, that's not by accident. You know what I mean? I think when I finally watched Stranger Things after it had been out for almost a year or something, because I just thought it was like a YA kind of thing that maybe I wouldn't enjoy. But everyone was like, if you don't watch it, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. You know, friends give you homework. Like, I'm sorry, have you watched all the Stranger Things? No, I haven't. Well, you have to, otherwise we're not friends. It was a shark smash cut to an actual shark, or a prosthetic one, perhaps. Not prosthetic, prop. Looks pretty fucking real though. You could get away with that back then. Look at these little shitheads kicking it. Little fucking weird blonde fro. Great suits. I forgot what I was talking about. What were we talking about?
The shark.
The shark? Yeah, I don't know. I was in the middle of a thought and it went away. He's so great at acting, like displaying that the happiness you feel when a problem solves itself.
Uh-huh.
You know that feeling? I get that sometimes when I'm in the middle of, some sort of production work or whatever, and it's something that was a hurdle in some way is just completely removed without me doing anything. It's like, thank fuck. I'm going to call him young fella. He's like 48 years old or something. Well, he looks it. No, he was in his, would have been in his 20s, I reckon. Richard Dreyfuss, this is. What kind of shark? A what?
Look at that shirt. Good Lord.
It's extreme. This guy's suits are out of fucking control. Like, I can't. This is like the fourth one I've seen him in. You gotta be joking me. How many jackets does a dude need? He looks like fucking ice cream. Or no, he doesn't. It looks like toothpaste.
It's in my head now. Yes, it does.
Yeah, don't you think he looks like toothpaste? Here he is. Hello, I'm toothpaste. I'm listening in. I'm very minty. Oh, that's silly. That's very silly. Look at the composition on this shot, though. Like, that's probably maybe like 24 millimeter, maybe. Oh, no, probably not that wide. Maybe 35, 27. I know that Spielberg traditionally likes shooting on a 27 mil for a lot of his stuff. He's got the little drop off of focus in the background there, with the people, but it's, still tight on them. Sorry, I dig all that sort of stuff.
I didn't mean to zone out. I was just looking at the ripples on the shark's skin.
Yeah, me too. It's like, he needs to use some aloe vera.
Well, not now.
Aloe vera? No, well, it'd be a bit pointless at this point, yeah. Ooh, that's a brutal smack in the face. See, that's probably a 35 as well. Yeah, it must be because he's quite tight there. Such a great performance from someone who wasn't an actor.
Such a great shift in tone as well.
Yeah, from the celebratory, we caught the motherfucker, to Brody, to Hooper saying, hey, maybe not, and then this one coming, and this next scene with him with the sun is just, it's one of the greatest scenes ever. I mean, every scene in this film is. So fucking biased. I was on the Sequel Suck podcast on Monday night. We did an episode with those cats, and a young woman named Hannah who's a whiskey girl on Instagram, and she just talks about movies and different nice types of whiskey, and she's very cool. But it was sitting there with Angus and Cable, and we talked about Batman Returns, and one of the questions I asked at the end was, what is everybody's favourite superhero movie? Because Batman Returns is mine. And Hannah was like, I can't pick that. Like, I have to go by era, like when it came out. And so like 70s it'd be Superman, and 80s it'd be Batman, then 90s it'd be Batman Returns, all that stuff. I just thought it was a really good point. And a lot of people say that when you ask them what their favourite movie is. Like they either know it immediately, or they're like, oh, I can't pick. I'd have to pick by genre or something. And that's what this is for me. Like it's Jaws, and then a whole bunch of other stuff that rotate in and out depending on how I feel.
I love this
Like
scene
this is
so
so
much.
sweet. Yeah, I know, right? Fathers and sons stuff is just like it's Spielberg's bread and butter. And then he notices that he's doing it. And then he notices that he's noticed. It's just so perfect. Give us a kiss, because I need it. Like, I'm not a parent, but I can imagine that's sometimes what it feels like. The life's getting you down and you feel a bit, everywhere you turn there's woe. And then your little kid gives you a bit of attention and you're like, now I know what I'm doing. And her just standing there going and like watching that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So great.
Fuck, that shit made me cry. What the hell?
Oh, buddy. I love it. It's just drinking whiskey in a tumbler. Just like, fuck it. Fuck life. Fuck my life. Fuck my sheriff life. I love it. He turns up with wine because he wants a meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is anybody eating that? Like, I'm just going to eat it. I didn't know what you'd be serving. I could never figure it out either. And it looks like, when we went and saw it for my birthday a couple of years ago, it was actually the day after my 40th. So yeah, 2 years ago, we went and saw it at Amazon, fucking idiot, IMAX. And I started noticing little things that I hadn't before, like the pack of cigarettes there, and the fact that what they've got on their plate there. It looks like green beans, some sort of like crumbed fish, and clams. And then I thought, well, of course, they're on an island.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish Richard Dreyfuss did books on tape. You know what I
Like
mean?
audiobooks?
He's just got the books on tape. I'm showing my fucking age there. He's just got it. He's like, I think I'll open the red wine. He's so pissed. But doing it really subtly, like it's hard to act drunk. Like, have you ever had to act drunk?
Oh yeah, once.
Yeah, it's really difficult because you end up going to an extreme. I remember, this is good. You might want to let that breathe. No, never mind. Into the glass with the whiskey.
And the ice.
And the ice. Just a little bit for the wifey there. And yep, just 2 fingers, thanks. That's heaps. But you've got a fucking tumbler. So good. My God. I mean, in my drinking days, I drank some weird stuff. Like just fucking, when you're an alcoholic, you're just like, whatever's in the house. Just what have we got? I've run out of beer. What could I possibly drink? And like had things like gin with coconut oil, coconut water. Horrible, but it done the trick. Whiskey, like a little glass of whiskey, and then in with wine as well. That's fucking bizarre. But then people here, I guess, in Australia, they have I think it's called a shanty or a shandy. I don't know, I can't remember. But it's beer and lemonade.
I think it's called a shandy.
Shandy? Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't drink. I just have an alcoholic friend.
Oh, me?
No, not you, not you.
We should start a club.
Oh, the amount of time I've heard that.
Yeah. Hey, you said it to me, and now we're on a fucking podcast together.
This is different. We drink tea.
We do drink tea. Lovely, lovely chai tea of an evening. Nothing wrong with that. Just watching Jaws. I think saw an interview with Josh Brolin recently, and he was saying, because he's sober as well, and he was saying how he's like, he preaches the lifestyle because it's so good for him. Like, he loves it. Like, I've got clarity and energy and understanding and a oneness that he hadn't found, by abusing alcohol or drugs or whatever. And he was like, but do I miss the party days? Do I miss the good days? Of course. Like, of course there's still fun to be had. And there's a lot of people out there having it, but then there's some people who, like Josh Brolin and myself who, it got too good to us. He didn't need a car, did he? From Louisiana, which makes sense because tiger sharks, I think, are the only shark... Oh no, it's bull sharks that can go in freshwater. But you find quite a few tiger sharks in rivers, like sort of in that part of the country, part of the US. That is my understanding. I think that was the plot of the film Shark Night.
So vampire shark.
The plot of the film Vampire Shark. It's a very good film. There was a film, I think it was called Shark Night, and there was it was bull sharks, who are extremely aggressive. Like, as far as sharks go, they're just motherfuckers. And it was a bunch of sort of hick people who had captured the sharks and were using them to like serial murder people. It was real convoluted, man.
Damn.
This for me is when the score goes into go somewhere else. Like, it just starts to become this, like, themes start to be introduced, and you get that kind of the mystery vibe of like, hang on a second, that's not a school of fish. That's something bigger than a school of fish. Oh, it's a fucking boat. Oh, it's Ben Gardner. Oh, there's his head. You want a pretzel?
Oh, damn, pretzels are great. I should have had that.
Pretzels, I'm going to put it out there. Pretzels, apart from popcorn and chocolate triangles. I literally waited until you were having a sip of your drink to say that as well, because fuck you. Pretzels are after popcorn, are my next favourite movie snack. When Justice League... Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 4-hour-long version of it came out. Me and Alex are big DC fans, so she came round and we watched it together. And we had a bunch of snacks and stuff because she wasn't drinking either. And she made chocolate hummus.
What?
To have with the pretzels, and it was I remember more the chocolate pretzel hummus than I remember the movie that day. Do you go back to that movie much?
Zack Snyder's Justice League? Recently, yeah, because I'm working on the Superman write-up.
Oh, sure, yeah. Your sort of long-form one.
Yeah.
You're not going to wait till the James Gunn movie comes out? So it's all relevant and shit?
No, because that's not my Superman. It's somebody else's.
You know what happened in between chats is, like, sorry folks, I know we're talking Jaws here, but here's a little nerd news for you. They released the picture of David Cornsweet putting the boots on with the kind of what looks like a charred thing. What did you think?
It's good. It's got the new. Was it new 25?
52.
New 52. This is,
I feel like the whole reboot it kind of feels like the new 52. Like if you look at the characters they're using, Swamp Thing and introducing a different Green Lantern, the Authority as well. Like I just reread the first 12 issues of 12 or 10. First 12 issues of the Authority reboot from 1999 that Warren Ellis did with Brian Hitch. And it's fucking outstanding. Like it's one of the best comic books ever put together. And then it kind of went a bit astray when Mark Millar took over it because I'm not a huge fan of his. But like that, it has that kind of like attitude of a new 52. And if you look at the slate of films they've kind of said that they're going to do, it kind of feels like that's what the reboot is. So out going away from Zach's universe, the Snyderverse or whatever you want to call it, and this reboot is James Gunniverse, but it's kind of like the new 52 but for the movies.
sure. I also feel like most of like the new DC is going to be familiar, but none of the things that were touched by Snyder, because they have Waller back and they have Peacemakers in production,
Yeah, I can't wait.
and I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a Suicide Squad 2 somewhere down the line, with most of them returning. And it just feels a little selfish, but that's just me.
Whatever. It's just James Gunn can do what he wants. Talk about writing a blank check. Fuck me. Oh, sorry. We're about to see Ben Gardner's head. What were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. This part, my beautiful future wife, Emily, when we went and saw this for the first time at the cinema, it was at the Astor, and it was the day after our engagement party in 2020. And I'd quit drinking at that point. That's come up a lot, this commentary. I'm not trying to flex or anything, it's coming up naturally. Yeah. And that part happened in the film, and she was deathly hungover from the engagement party, and like really bad. Like she had to vomit on the drive there and stuff. It was pretty shocking. She doesn't really drink like that anymore, but it was party time, and that part happened, and she shit a fucking gold egg, mate. Like she shit a solid gold brick. Yeah, just outrageous.
Yeah, no, I jumped right now as well.
Yeah, you can't not, There's no tobacco in that cigarette. That's a fake cigarette.
It's a prop. It's a set prop.
Must be. Talk about best good oneers. That goes from them walking in a wide with the beach in the background and all the people, and then it comes into a close-up. Changing angle there a little bit. Like putting the emphasis on who's talking.
Yeah.
He never breaks the axis, like he never swaps sides, but he's just changing the choreography so nicely. I mean, that's not how close people normally stand to each other. Can you imagine standing that close to someone post-COVID?
I do.
Someone will lick you on the face, mate. Fucking hell, I'm on the train. I love how funny you think I am. It's half the reason I do the show, honestly.
I don't think you're funny. You are funny.
I don't care, I'll take it. Now a nice little walking close into a mid. Then this really weird sort of drop down. So they must have been on a like a dolly or maybe even a technocrane, and they've come down there to look up. Those proportions are correct. And then he kind of disappears into the back of frame. Still in focus.
I used to do that to like
closer.
library textbooks.
What? Put help shark in them?
No.
Or used to graffiti
Yeah.
in them? You rabble rouser, you.
To be fair, the school library wasn't updated from like 1970, 1956.
So there's a bunch of medical textbooks in there telling you not to masturbate or you go blind.
It wasn't 56, it was 96, sorry. But yeah.
Still, my comment stands. What happens if you get warts? Bury a potato. It's all these weird, like, old wives' tales of, like, you know, if you've got fucking, you know, an itchy scrot, you got to spit on a stone or something. You know, these weird sort of borderline witchcrafty supernatural shit, you know? Like, let's put salt around the house so that no ghosts can get in.
Yeah.
It's like, that probably doesn't work. Ghosts are going to get in if they want to. Again, hang on, he's got at least the same jacket on. It's not a different jacket this time. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Was one of the deleted scenes that you saw in the longer version of this, was it just that guy walking into like his walk-in wardrobe and it's all jackets?
I wish it was, but it's...
Got to take the mauve one out.
If anything, like, it was a shorter version of almost every scene.
Yeah, it's probably just, you know, an editor's cut, like the thing where you would get it down, you would whittle it down to something you would screen for the studio, and then Spielberg would go in and make recuts after they first did. Like after previews of this film, or after it first opened, he went back in and recut the timing of the Ben Gardner head popping jump scare because the musical stab was too late. Or too early, rather. It needed to be just a second after you see their head, and then you register what you've seen. Like, he understands the psychology of an audience so fucking well. He just happens to be a person who loves making movies as well. He's not always the businessman. A nun. Saw a nun there. There's a person of colour.
Yeah.
Some buns.
Finally.
There's a couple there.
54 minutes in.
Yeah, right. No one gets eaten, at least. Like, none of the people of colour get eaten. Like, the beginning of Jurassic Park. Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent. Jurassic Park's a bit racist.
I haven't gone back to it in a long time.
It's really good. It's really good. Like, it's close to as good as this. And the only reason I think it's not as good as this is because this is my favourite film. But Jurassic Park is just as a well-made film. Yeah, it's beautiful. The Astor did a double bill of Jaws and Jurassic Park like a few years ago. It was like 2021 or something. I fucking loved it. It was one of the best days of my life, honestly. I like the small things. Sorry if I'm speaking rather manically, everybody. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I had a really good day, and I'm watching Jaws with my pal. I've got tomorrow off. It's a good day. Here's Peter Benchley, the writer who has terrible balance apparently. He wrote the original book and then went on to have not very much success outside of this. Wrote a bunch of other things, which are giant monster things that people didn't really give a shit about.
That's the same jacket as before, but more later.
Yes, there's more toothpaste.
Yeah.
Look at these beautiful 70s babes. And dudes as well. When I say babes, I mean dudes and women. I've lost my train of thought again. What are we talking about?
I don't remember.
Damn it. Damn it again. Oh, that's right, Jurassic Park. It's a bit racist because this is me just being silly. The first person to die in that film is an African American. Right? The second person to die in that film is Jewish. He's the lawyer who gets eaten on the toilet, no less. I think he's Jewish. I think they actually say that. Or at least his last name is Jewish. Then Samuel L. Jackson gets killed, and they just find his arm. And then the next person to get killed after that's Australian. So, racial. Talking about Australians if we're a minority. I mean, we kind of are. Actually, we're a fucking huge country, honestly. We just look small comparatively to the other land masses. But you can fit our country like inside of a bunch of other countries. Or you'd fit other countries inside of us, rather.
Or you can fit New Zealand inside of Australia.
Yeah, but if you were to plonk Australia down in the middle of Europe, it would cover a bunch of countries, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Nice shorts. hot dogs in the background. You get hamburgers, sandwiches, ice creams, soft drinks, coffee, and candy at that shop behind them. Sorry, this 4K remaster is excellent. It is absolutely excellent. This is one of the best remasters, or is that what you call it? Restorations of any 4K I've got. It's like this, Batman Returns, and Batman 89 as well, but particularly good. And Maltese Falcon are just some people. I know that most companies don't really give a shit about digital media anymore, or disc media, like physical media stuff, DVDs and Blu-rays and all that, because it's just not where the money is with streaming. But when the people who do it, places like Arrow, who do, you know, specific runs of things, do it, they're doing it for people who, like vinyl, who are collectors of that because they dig it so much. And when they give a shit, you can do heaps with the information that you have and the technology that we have now. Like this would have been shot on probably 35 millimeter, 65 millimeter, something like that, maybe 70 in places. But I mean, it's 235, so it's, you know, shot widescreen, so it could be any of those formats. But it's so, like, there's a beautiful grain there. There's such a richness to the blacks, and the highlights really pop, and the color's great. Like, it's, you know, it's day and night from when I was watching it on streaming last time, you know. Oh shit, there's a fin. Oh, fuck. Silly. That's a pickup shot if I've ever seen one. Great having her look in down the barrel. Like it gives you the immediacy of like, oh fuck, it's right there. Yeah, fuck those kids.
I would be that person.
Yeah, I'd poke them with pins as well. Take that. Now the shark's going to go after you.
I had a really bad thought.
What?
I just... Oh wait, this the guy with their...
There's the guy's ball sack. We can see, Jesus mercy. 1970s Bush. George W. Just showing everybody your George W. I like that guy stole the thing off them. Look at that shot and then the helicopter comes past. Like, come on. Composition. I wonder if this mic is picking up any of the sound from the TV. I wonder if sharks are like vampires and like brightly coloured clothes.
You know what's a good Elseworld story? A bat from the Dracula's fucking coven or whatever goes and bites King Shark and he becomes a vampire for a night.
That's fucking awesome. Can you please add that to the list of the comics we're going to write? That's really, really, really
I said vampire shark and that's the only thing I've been thinking of for minutes.
I mean, well, technically they are. These little shits. You didn't see the scene of those two kids getting a 1970s style beating from their parents after that either. Just an absolute caning. Broke 3 wooden spoons, I promise you. I'm just noticing all these extras. Doing some serious work.
It's the 4K, man.
It is. It really is. It's such a beautiful remaster. That's terrifying with the kid in the shot. Fuck my hole. I said that in front of someone new the other day who hadn't heard it before. It was my brother-in-law and he's like, what? Fuck my hole? Because, what do you mean, like your hole? Like, yeah, just don't think about it too much, mate. This poor guy. Then again, he's trying to get the attention of a bunch of young boys. Maybe he shouldn't have been there. Are we surmising that this guy is being, this Jaws is eating a paedophile right now?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Jesus.
I know, 1970s, mate. Forget about it. And a leg. There was a deleted scene, I don't know if you saw it, where this part happened and but the guy was still in the shark's mouth and he was like coughing up blood and spitting it, and he grabbed the kid and so the shark was swimming with that guy half eaten in his mouth, and that guy was holding onto the kid, and so the kid was going with, and eventually he let him go, but the kid was covered in blood, and Spielberg was like, it was too horrific. It was just too much. We just went that little bit too far, hence the leg shot, which is still really great.
I was talking to Leanne today, and something happened, and it just rolled off my tongue, and I said, "Fuck my hole." She was like, "What?"
I'm infecting everybody. I can't help it. I'm like COVID.
Let's not.
This shot here, where he just looks out to the ocean, he's like, "Fuck, we're gonna have to do something about this." That part of the score just gets me.
If in that show he would have been smiling, it's the difference between him and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, very much.
What about ice cream?
She's like, yeah. Well, I mean, he wants coffee flavored ice cream, obviously, which is fucking awesome.
amazing.
Every time he says it, I'm like, I know what he's talking about there, and heaven help us.
Next time we do this, coffee flavored ice cream for sure.
The next commentary. Okay, yeah, we'll pick your one. What are we gonna do? All the Lord of the Rings movies.
Well, we talked about Fellowship.
9-hour commentary.
That's all Lord of the Rings.
Fellowship.
All Lord of the Rings extended is 12 hours.
Is it? Fucking let's book in a day, mate. Forget about it.
If you really want to, all Lord of the Rings extended plus The Hobbit is 24 hours.
No, I'm not doing The Hobbit. You can keep The Hobbit, mate. I'm not interested at all. I really like Marty Freeman. I think he's great. He's one of my favourite actors, but nah. Here, sign this, you fucking... You look like goddamn sorbet now. Look at that shirt. It's actually quite a nice shirt. And also, I love the idea that a lot of the start of this film, like, what are we, an hour in now?
Yeah. Hour 5
so
minutes.
we're in the middle of the second act, you know. Or we're just coming to right to the middle of the second act. It's like 4 acts, this film, really. Or 3 and a big one in the middle. The corporate greed idea, the idea of, you know, saving summer and all the townsfolk being like, if people don't come here, we're all going to go broke. And then this mayor being like, everything will be fine. And then all these people get munched on his clock. And then they don't hit the water until after an hour in.
Yeah.
You know? Like the next scene features Quint, you know. And don't forget to colour TV. Apricot schnapps. The story goes that Robert Shaw didn't really like Richard Dreyfuss. They were quite antagonistic towards each other for whatever reason, and so when the attitude that they have towards each other and the friction that they have is real, because that's what it was like off camera as well. I love this. He hands it to Brody, hands it to Hooper, and he's like, "Don't drink that." Mince meat in a jar? Fuck off.
I mean,
don't drink that.
I live in a place that's famous for shark fin soup, so I've seen this like.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up. And it's not even the fact that that's fucked up because sharks, by and large, are endangered. They're never in huge quantities, to be able to do that. They're not. You don't fish them the normal way because you can't really grow them in captivity, I don't think. And even if you can, it's still fucked up. But it's just the process by which it's done. Most of them don't do it humanely, which would be to kill the shark first. They just, to save time, I guess, they just cut the fin off and then drop the poor creature back into the ocean, and it can't swim and it drowns. Like, fuck, we're a plague sometimes. I really do feel that way. Sorry, all you meat eaters out there, but if you listen to this, you know how I feel about it. Who wants to eat shark fin soup anyway?
Like, the fucked up part is you don't even get the fin.
Don't you?
No.
Is it just for flavour, is it?
It's just to boil the fucking broth.
Yeah, well, why don't you fucking dunk my salty balls in it and you'll probably get the same goddamn broth, my friends. Salty ball soup. I love how ballsy he is. He's like this guy there because Shaw's like kind of not playing himself, but he's kind of playing a extreme version of himself. He was brash and abrasive and a bit of a drunk and kind of easily agitated, but he was just a remarkable actor, an incredible writer, like a really good performer. And talking before about him having mince meat in a jar, like that's disgusting. But it makes perfect sense. This is a guy who would have grown up, what time was this? Was he probably 1920s he would have been born. And then would have been in World War II. Well, absolutely was, because he tells a story about it later. So he's used to fucking the simple things like rations, and he comes from a family of fishermen probably, or at least lived by the water. So he would have been fairly working class his whole life. So like simple food like that wouldn't have meant anything. He's not having clams at night. He's opening up a tin of beans and eating it cold. Like food is fuel, and that's it. Or he's probably eating shark every night, honestly. Just, I fucking love this. Fuck you, shark. Nom, nom, nom. It's more Seamus than anyone, I guess. I also love like he's, so cocky, yeah, we're going to go out there and hunt this shark and it's our shark and, all this kind of stuff. And then they see it for the first time and he's like, that's a 20-footer. He's like 25, 3 tons of him. And even he's shocked. He can't go down with 3 barrels. No, not with 3 barrels he can't. Just fucking incredible. For I've received orders to sail back to Boston. What's that fucking thing? It's all these apparatus everywhere. Shit.
I'm not gonna lie, like, love him or hate him, I think Nicolas Cage is one of the only actors who could actually play like an older person really well.
What? What are we... He's not in this.
I know, but if there was a role like Quint, I think Nicolas Cage would be amazing in that.
Oh, right. I mean, yeah, he sort of has a little bit, there's been roles like that, like in Pig or Drive Angry. Yeah, I can totally see that.
And now he's going to be playing Spider-Man for the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's animated though.
It's not, it's live action.
Shut the front door.
It's live action.
I love the idea of Spider-Man noir, but I'm a big noir fan. I'm working on 2 screenplays at the moment that are noirs. One of them's a traditional noir, and another one is set in the future. So it's a neo-noir. But that doesn't make any sense. Just make an animated version.
I think they're banking on his face.
They're banking on his face. You mean the face he's going to cover up in a mask?
Well, he's not going to be jumping around buildings.
I hope not, because otherwise it's going to... Actually, you know what? It would be fucking amazing. Can you imagine? My back. At least he'll get to play the superhero instead of the fucking, like, goddamn Superman shits. We got into talking about The Flash again the other night when I was on Sequel Suck, because we were talking about Batman Returns. And Angus was like, so how do you feel about The Flash being like a sequel to this movie? And I was like, it's not. So don't even worry about it.
Don't push it.
Don't even worry about it. And I said, like, me and you were so, like, our shows are always positive podcasts. Like, we don't talk about things we don't want to talk about. So much so that when The Flash came out, we did an episode on the Flashpoint Paradox instead of The Flash. I love this. This was done in rehearsal. Richard Dreyfuss was like, drinking a cup of water and he crushed it like that in his hand. And Kyle Gottlieb was like, we need to put that to film somewhere. That's hysterical.
Oh, the scene is so good.
That doesn't look real either.
It doesn't, but it looks good.
Yeah. Oh, my favourite thing ever. It's compressed air, you idiot. You pulled the wrong one. And then Quint says, I've seen one eat a rocking chair one time. Under what fucking circumstances did you see a shark eat a rocking chair? And I've asked a lot of people this, and they're like, maybe it was on the boat. I'm like, why do we have a rocking chair on a boat? Like, this guy's, he's got a chair there that's like his sharking chair where he's got the thing in it and it's clamped to the thing. You're not going to be out there like, rocking chair on a boat?
If it's like a living boat, maybe then.
If you lived on it, okay, yeah. It's just such a
But then
weird...
again, you're on the water. Where the fuck would you need a rocking chair for?
I know, the boats are already rocking. We don't do double rocking. I think he's got a little bit of biscuit here. And clickety, clickety, click. Oh, no, I'm going to pop this in my pocket for later.
Are we still not acknowledging that Wolverine copied Quint's look?
Well, to be fair, Wolverine was created before this. So, Len Wein created him in, 1975 or something like that? I can't remember. Before Claremont came along, so maybe it's the other way around. I've been listening to an old podcast lately. It was an offshoot of the writers panel with Ben Blacker that still runs, and they talk to TV writers and stuff like that. But between sort of 2012, 2017, they did, 100 or so episodes of a version of that podcast that was just speaking to comic book writers. And it's really good, like listening back to it and stuff. They just did an interview with, well, they didn't just do it. They did an interview with Mark Waid in like 2015, whatever. Ed Brubaker. But one of the regular guests was Len Wein, who was the creator of Swamp Thing and Wolverine. Oh, there's some contention about him creating Wolverine, but I don't go in for all that gossip. But he passed away in 2017 or something like that. But fuck, he was an amazing guy. He worked on everything. Worked on absolutely every comic book you've ever seen. Every character. Been working since he was like 22 years of age, was working at Marvel Comics. It was crazy. Now, the big thing about this picture is when Spielberg read the script, he's like, yeah, this is great. This is my next movie, I reckon. This is going to be awesome. It's kind of like a sequel to Duel, which is a baller-ass movie, by the way. That was about this sort of, this truck, this Leviathan chasing after, the everyman sort of character. This is great, and I'll shoot it on the open water, and it'll be really real. And everyone's like, you know what? You should probably shoot it in a tank, Steve. He's like, nah, fuck that noise. I'm not going to do any tank shits. And he was not prepared for the rigors of shooting on the ocean with the changing of the tides, just the force of the currents and things. When they first started using the mechanical shark, it would just sink. It would get battered by the waves. That's why they came up with the idea of the barrels, so that they could still have the shark be present without actually having to use the animatronic shark, only using it in sparing shots. And it's what makes this film work, honestly, is that sparing nature of how often you see it. Like if you saw it all the time, it would be just a monster movie. But the threat of those barrels is so much greater. So it's kind of, and there's a verisimilitude and a genuineness to the film that they did shoot out on the ocean. Like they weren't miles or anything from shore. You can see the land behind them sometimes, but it was out there far enough that, you know, boats would shift and the lighting would change, and if the lighting changes, the color of the ocean changes, so your continuity's fucked up. Like, I think it went over budget, you know, almost double, and it went almost 3 times its regular shooting schedule, and luckily enough became, you know, one of the most celebrated movies of all time. But can you imagine being on set for it? Fuck. Like some days they would get 2 shots done. Like, that's a fucking nightmare for me.
Yeah. It's nothing like you have a whole day planned with the amount of shots that you want to take, and then there's like a chain of things that happen and everything just goes wrong and you're only able to get like 1 or 2.
Yeah. I've had it happen enough that when I'm planning shoot days, I have a lot of leeway either side of things. But yeah, you never can tell. But I shoot fast, like I know what I want and I get it quickly. I can't imagine being held up by something as unpredictable as the ocean or a fucking robot shark. Ain't gonna take this abuse much longer. I fucking love Richard Dreyfuss. All right, can you entertain the folks while I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, for sure.
Tell everybody about it. Everybody, I'm just going to go to the bathroom and Addie's going to talk to you about some really cool shit.
We're at 1 hour, 20 minutes and 55 seconds. We tried this once before and it did not work because the cut that I had was 1 hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, it was frustratingly funny. Oh, there comes the shark. Also, if you like this commentary and you've gone for this on, if you've been watching for this long, write down in the comments on what other documentary or what other commentaries you want to see us do. Or what movies you want us to cover. Or shows.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I fucking missed the bit where the shark
Yeah.
first reared its head. Commentary track on Jaws, and I missed the bit where the Jaws turns up. Fucking hell. Sorry, everybody. I mean, it's still... Ugh, I hate that. Where he nearly slips. It still looks pretty legit in places, you know?
It's weird how like on screen it's scary what's happening, but the score is almost like adventurous.
This part it is, but I think that's intentional as well. I mean, look at the ocean there. That's fucking them up. It is like this is the bit. They're like, "Hey, we've done it. We found this thing, and it's, you know, it's three men. We're gonna go out there." And he's excited because it's an amazing specimen. He's excited because they're gonna kill it, and he's just terrified. Like it is. It's got that adventurous. And then as soon as Quint tells the Indianapolis story, the whole tone shifts again, and it becomes a horror movie proper. In Jaws 2, there's not two Jawses. There's still only the one Jaws. You know, just letting you know. Just one Jaws. Having said that, though, it's still a good movie. That's a fairly good movie.
But you don't recommend it.
Nah. No, I do. Of all the sequels, it's the best one. It's sort of, it's kind of like Die Hard 2, you know, like, oh shit, we were just up to our necks in terrorists again, John. But it's, you know, it's okay. Well, for starters, Roy Scheider comes back. He was contractually obligated to do it. There's a great article in Empire magazine about it a few years ago that was just like he fucking hated it. He would not talk to the director by the end of it. It was just a nightmare because it wasn't Spielberg, obviously. They asked him to do it, and his idea for it was more what ended up being 3, but they weren't interested in that at the time. And it's sort of like a teen horror movie, like a what do you call it? Like a slasher picture. In that it's a bunch of teenagers, you know, go out on their boats, and the shark attacks, and they kind of have to make kind of like an atoll, like a platoon kind of thing, not a platoon, a pontoon, and they kind of, you know, rope all the boats together, and the shark's just kind of circling, and it's Brody's got to get out there to save them. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about it. Just that it's kind of like a teen adventure kind of thing. Look at that shot. Fucking forget about it. See, there's some land there.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know, right?
That's why I love the ocean. Because you can't get that anywhere else.
No.
Because the
He's fucking
the
eyes.
sunset doesn't look that good like in the fucking mountains either.
No.
That's a Batman shot.
Quint man.
But everybody knows that he's Batman because he refuses to shave off his sideburns.
It's that fucking fisherman again, dressed up as Batman. Or it's fisherman Batman. How do you know? Well, look at the fucking sideburns and the mustache. And he fucking smells like fish. Everybody knows when he's coming because all of a sudden be like, you smell haddock? Everyone put your weapons down. Batman's coming. I love this scene. See, this starts off all jovial and silly as well. You know, just sitting there drinking schnapps. I wonder what they were eating.
Land crackers.
Yeah, or something. They got weird knives. It must be fish or something.
Must be canned fish.
Oh, I can't think of anything worse. Jesus. Something it was like meat, something meat. Meat in a tin.
The worst kind.
Okay, so we drink our legs. He's got a bit of Seamus in there for sure. And they shot this scene, when I like that he looks at like he's obviously had an appendix scar or something. He's like, "Nah, I'm not going to talk about that." Where he asks him about the one on his wrist, and he's like, "Oh, it was in Indianapolis," and he tells the story about the USS in Indianapolis, which is a real story. Like it actually happened that way. Apparently, more people died of exposure than they did of being eaten by sharks. Though it was more like being out there too long, drinking the water, all that shit. But a lot of the sharks did get them. He had to do this twice. Had to come back and do it a second day because Robert Shaw turned up to do it the first night and he was absolutely plastered. Not just fucking off his face, drunk and couldn't perform. He was obviously in a tremendous amount of pain. It's something in his life had happened to him that caused him to do that, and it was maybe it was something involving his past in the military if he had one. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure he wasn't on the actual USS Indianapolis though, but he rewrote this scene. Like if you read it, the original treatment of the script by Carl Gottlieb, it's substantially different, and it's his delivery is just his timing is incredible. Maybe we'll just be quiet for a second and listen him do it. Fucking hell, man. It's so good. Sorry for the dead air, everyone. I just can't not pay attention to that scene. And then they all start singing. It's like, what the fuck? Really well lit, this shot too. There's obviously some practical stuff. You know, that bulb there will be, they will have changed that bulb out, and it'll be something stronger than it would normally be in there if it was just a normal room. But you know, there's a light behind Brody. Maybe something coming in the window.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, seeing it move around, like seeing the light move around, and having Hooper come in and out of shadow is great. Yeah, I think what they're having is like corned beef hash, which is, I think it's like minced meat or corned beef, but with potatoes in it. It's a very American kind of situation. Uh-oh, fuck me. Oh, tits. Fuck my hole. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. There's nothing more terrifying than lying down or falling down in a boat and realizing there's water in it. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. It's also Quint's, like, you don't understand until that point, until that soliloquy, why it is that he's such a voracious shark hunter, and he fucking hates them. Like, he hates them in a way that, you know, people who of that time would have hated, you know, people that they fought in the war, like nationalities that they fought in the war or whatever. Like, he's kind of shark racist.
Yeah.
He's a fucking shark racist. He's a chasist. I mean, that wasn't that good of a joke, but thanks for laughing. Appreciate you. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Beep. Sorry.
You're talking about how people told Steven Spielberg not to shoot in a tank.
No, they told him to shoot in a tank, and he was like, "Nah, fuck you, bitches! I'm gonna shoot in the ocean. You don't know shit." And then he's like, "Oh dear, this took me 748 days to film or whatever."
Yeah. Me and my best friend, we were working on a show together. It'll be 4 years this year, and it started with us on a midnight call saying what would we do if we were running a gang, and all of our friends would be in it. And it started with that. It's becoming to something insane, and like it's not there now, but like the ending of the first season was a big like boat battle, like
a boat battle.
Yeah, like pirates and like cargo boats.
Okay.
I was so jacked. Like, I spent months trying to figure out how we're gonna shoot that in a tank. And then, like, once we read it, we were like, "The fuck are we doing?"
Yeah, what this is? Aim high, but come on, let's not be crazy. What happened to it?
Oh, we're still working on it.
And it was a show.
It's a show.
Well, tits. There it is. There he is. I think in real life the shark would just fuck off.
Yeah.
If people were after it, it might just be like, you know what, this isn't worth it. There's other people to eat elsewhere. I'm going to go and get some seals. They love seals, mate. It's a good character moment for both of them, but it's also a really good narrative trick, like a narrative device. Because as soon as everything went AWOL, he could just call the Coast Guard and be like, "Hey, this shark is supernatural, and it's really big. I don't know if we talked about this, Coast Guard, but this shark, it's really big. How big? Well,
It's big.
It's I can't even tell. Like, how big do you think sharks are? Well, I don't know. Don't you work for the Coast Guard though? Yeah, that doesn't mean I've seen heaps of sharks. Well, then you should do more research. Who are we? Well, I work for the Coast Guard and you're Brody in this film. Oh, okay, cool. Why do we have the same voice? Because Riggs is lazy.
Can we have that as the promo of this episode? Because I love that so much.
I just like the idea of a Coast Guard person going, well, I don't know how big a shark should be. So 25 feet? Should it be that big? No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't really be that big. It should be 10 max. Why? I'm going to keep going with them. I don't know. Let me ask Hooper. Hooper, why should they only be 10 feet? Shut up, I'm taking photos. And masturbating furiously into the ocean. Just, fucking yeah, jerking off in the ocean. Blah. What? What are we talking about? I was silent for too long. Those couple of minutes when Quint was doing his speech were too long for me, and now I come back with a vengeance, mate. Hey, is it tonight? Is the final episode of X-Men 97 drop tonight? Oh shit! And we're recording with the Till the End of the Line guys on Friday morning, yeah? All right, I'm gonna get on that. I might watch it tomorrow night though. I'm excited. That show's been good.
I can't breathe, dude.
Sorry. It was a lot. I was doing character pieces, but without doing voices, and then was jerking off in the ocean.
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be Quint and the Coast Guard just talking, and then as soon as you go, why did this sound the same? It's just you doing this.
Yeah, I don't know. See, you can tell that it wasn't me doing impressions because you thought I was being Quint in the Coast Guard. I wasn't. I was being Brody in the Coast Guard because I was just doing my own voice. I don't think I did that for the two guys who were. I did two characters on one of the episodes. Like, who are we? I don't know.
Was the Avengers compound guys?
It might have been, yeah.
It was either that.
Just two guys who work at Avengers Compound.
Or it was the two guys who saw Doctor Strange as a giant dick.
That's right. Seen Doctor Strange recently? Yeah, he's just a giant penis in the sky. Is that him? Yeah, it is. Who are we again?
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we've had some silly times. There's just hours of silliness if you want to go. Yeah, if you're a new listener and you've just found this all of a sudden, like, who are these two goofballs talking over one of my favourite movies? One of your favourite. I'm assuming this is one of your favourite movies, or otherwise, why would you take a punt on a podcast that does a commentary episode if you don't know who they are? Yeah, we've got heaps of episodes. You should go back and check them out. They're good fun. They're on all the regular places you can find it.
Oh man!
I always feel weird like spruiking it. It's fun. It's funny. Like on the Sequel Suck show the other night, they were like, "Where can we find you?" And Tommy and DL do it all the time as well. I'm like, I don't know. We're on the internet. Come and find us on the internet.
That's a tight ass.
That is a tight ass. And them jeans, them 1970s jeans, just Then we're talking buns, mate. Could bounce a coin off that shit. Boing.
I was gonna do
Richard
that.
Dreyfuss, not a traditionally handsome dude, but you know,
Fuck tradition.
back then it didn't matter. Think about the 1970s stars. Seriously, think about it. I mean, Robert Redford doesn't count, and Paul Newman doesn't count because they're just fucking. But they still looked old timey Hollywood. They don't look like people look now.
Yeah.
You know, they're not the Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratts and everybody, all the Chris Pines. Just go straight to Chris's for who's the most beautiful white people in America right now. But, you know, they don't look like that. You know, now you get Roy Scheider. Roy Scheider was a superstar. You get him. Gene Hackman. This motherfucker. And then music's the same. Like, I don't think any of the Beatles were particularly good looking. You know, all the Rolling Stones are not.
How dare you?
What?
You saying John Lennon with long hair and fucking brown-haired sideburns is not hot?
I don't know, mate. Do you?
That's
I'm not sure if he was very good looking. Hello, I'm John. I like to write music and songs and things. I'm so handsome. Yoko. Give me a biscuit. I don't know. I've never done a John Lennon on our episode. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
John Lennon on the
close.
podcast. Yeah, it's you've got to do Stewie from Family Guy, but do it through the nose. That's all it is. So he's from Liverpool. Man, it's just frothing.
That showed up Quint finding that Machete is me trying to find the correct version of Jaws on the internet.
Where's the fucking thing that I put it? That was so funny. Yeah, little inside baseball, folks. We tried to record this and got almost halfway through, like last week or the week before last, and we realised we were watching two different cuts. Like I didn't know that there was a longer one, and you didn't know that there was supposed to be a shorter one. Fucking nonsense, mate.
We recorded for 1 hour and 40 minutes, which is longer than the cut that I had.
Longer than the movie? Yeah, that makes sense. That's about our style. Love that shot. Just the 3-barrel idea. So clever. But I mean, even that would have been difficult. Like, you're out in the open ocean. That means they'd have to have some sort of like ratchet under the water, some sort of rigging under the water. Incredible. Where the fuck it go? It's a pretty big shark, my dudes. Figure it out.
I want to go back oh shit.
Great shot. It is huge.
I genuinely got scared.
See, there's land right there. And there was always an ad break here when you watched it on telly. You'd be too young to remember when there were ad breaks on television.
No, I'm not.
But like for like classic movies and shit, it was like, you know, whenever I watched Temple of Doom or this or, you know, the Ninja Turtles movie, any of those things, I always remember where the ads were. Like this is where they always had an ad. Because they tried to sort of, you know, time it around sort of scene breaks or act breaks or whatever. They don't fucking give a shit about that anymore now. They just jump right in the middle of something. But
yeah.
MFs. I've just been saying that instead of motherfuckers lately. I don't know why. There's no real reason.
I remember the ad breaks in all Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Because
I still haven't seen all of those.
I will watch it, and then as soon as the ad break used to come out, I used to get out of the house and take a random fucking stick and pretend to be Harry Potter.
That's pretty cute. Then again, having said that, I used to do the same thing with Tarzan movies or Robin
That's
Hood.
dangerous.
Why? Which one?
Because pretending to be Tarzan.
Pretending to be Robin Hood's pretty dangerous too. I told you the story about how I got stabbed in the head with an arrow, right?
No, you didn't.
Okay, all right. Here you go, folks. This isn't Jaws related. Currently what's happening is the shark's chasing them and the orca's about to break down. But just a quick aside. When I was younger, my dad is an archer, or he has arching ability. He was, used to go to tournaments and stuff when he was a teenager. So we had archery set up at the house. And he had targets and stuff set up. And I had a little bow and arrow to myself and all that stuff, but they were legit arrows. It was like it wasn't like suction cups on the end of it or a fucking punching bag like Green Arrow. A boxing glove. They were legit. And we were walking down the backyard to do the archery one day, and I bent down to pick up my bow, and I had a quiver, which is where you put the arrows, on my back. And as I bent down, one of the arrows slid out of the quiver, feather tip end first, and beat me to the ground. So it dug into the ground, and as I leant down further to get it, the sharp part stabbed me in the head. And I stood up and picked everything up and walked down, and I felt something warm on my face, and I put my hand in, it was just covered in blood, and I had to get stitches and shit in my head. You can still feel the bump on my head. It was fucked up. It was some fucked up times. And I recently, for my dad's 70th, which just was just past last October, I took him to an archery range to have a go at some archery again after however many years. Just to have a bit of fun day with him. As opposed to going bowling or something silly like that. And I did steer clear of all the arrows. I'll tell you that much.
Nice.
But yeah, jumping around, I used to, Tarzan's on, hang on a second, let me just get into my knickers and run around with, a piece of flint that I've fashioned into a knife. You got any better suggestions? Another Richard Dreyfuss performance that's really great. I like how it cuts to what you think is a reaction shot of Brody there, but it's actually them starting to put this together. Another really great performance of Richard Dreyfuss is, of course, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was the next picture that they both did, Spielberg and Richard Dreyfuss after this. It's also one of the only films that Spielberg has a writing credit on, apart from The Fabelmans, I think. Such a strange, measured film. It's almost like it's these amazing effects and these huge themes and these huge kind of ideas going on around family and what being a father is and but also these galactic themes of like humans communicating with aliens and all this stuff. But it's almost like fly on the wall. Like it's almost like you're watching it happen. It's not a drama. It's just taking place. Really, really cool. And I love Spielberg's idea of, as well as, he's done movies in which aliens are not very friendly. War of the Worlds is a great example, which is a fucking awesome film. That movie rocks. But at that time, it was post aliens movies, and it was like, all of these creatures are coming to get you. But his rationale is, if a species developed the ability to travel, across galaxies, like if interstellar travel was part of their societal toolkit, they could only be benevolent, because you can't get to that level of evolution and be and use it for ill. Do you know what I mean? I like the idea that at some point you get smart enough to realize that evil doesn't work, or that at least acquisitiveness or conquering natures of way that, you think about aliens attacking kind of thing. That wouldn't happen. It's like Independence Day or some shit, which fucking rules, by the way, that movie. You know what's really funny though? For some of the inserts, you said he looks like Steven Spielberg. For some of the insert shots for this film, they were shot in of Richard Dreyfuss reacting in this tank or in this underwater scenario with the goggles on and that kind of stuff. It was Spielberg, and they shot because they were pickups that they did after the fact, and they did it in his pool.
That's pretty cool.
Real shark shot. There's some real shark shots. Pretty good. And they used, it blows my fucking mind every time. Like nowadays you would do this, and it's, I know it's stupid to be like, oh, back in the olden days, but there was something, more, I don't know, the art form didn't feel so much like a business, I guess. Now you would do it in CG. When the shark is attacking this cage in a little bit, where you see it sort of rolling around on top, and it's footage of a real shark rolling around on top of one of these cages. It's not the animatronic one. And in order to get the scale right, to make the shark look as like this shot here, to make the shark look as big as they wanted it to look in reality, because you're not going to find a real 25-foot shark. They built a smaller version of the cage and put a little person in there, in the garb and all that kind of stuff. And when you see the shark getting wrapped up with it at the top, that's a real shark that got caught in the cabling, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't help it out because it was just going into a frantic motion. And the guy who filmed it said it was the most terrifying thing he's ever witnessed. Just seeing this primal force contend with being almost trapped. Just such a cool little tidbit from the making of this film, and that wouldn't happen now. Like any shark film you see now, they're never real sharks anymore.
Yeah, it's a CG shark.
Yeah, and it's not like they went out and caught one and put it in a tank. That's not what happened. They just went out into the ocean and filmed these things. They had these an Australian couple go to off the coast of Queensland, I think it was, and shoot these real sharks. So that's this bit here. That's a real shark freaking the fuck out.
Damn.
And it totally works. That legitimizes everything, that shot. It just makes it all look fucking legit. He's giving me real shark.
That's insane.
I know. But the fact that you don't know that, that's it there, that's the real shark. It's fuck you, tank. See you later. They're so beautiful though. As terrifying as they are, just what remarkable creatures.
I mean, sharks were on this planet before trees, so. I'm not kidding, that's true.
It's just a weird flex.
I'm
a shark. I was here before trees. You're a weird person. No, I meant for the shark. Yeah, hi, my name's Edmund. I'm a shark. I was here before trees, and holy shit. Peter Benchley, because the book ends differently. Quint goes into the water with the shark and he's spearing it in the mouth, and that's how it dies. It just sort of, gets killed and spirals down. And Steven Spielberg was like, that's not very cinematic. That's not going to work. I'm going to have the shark jump up onto the boat. And Peter Benchley was like, are you insane? No one's going to believe that a shark would jump up onto a boat like that. He's like, look, Peter, if I've got them 2 hours and, almost 2 hours in, I've got them. The audience is going to believe whatever the fuck I tell them at that point. And this scene rules. It's so brutal. And it's the only real sort of vicious death that you see, maybe, apart from the kidney boy, really, and the leg.
Cut to Jason Statham going at it on a shark with a fucking jet ski.
in that movie, in the first movie, he punches a shark in the head. Like, just that's terrifying.
Oh my God.
But you know what's funny? I see his big beautiful eyes, and I just think of my cat. That's what Paul's eyes look like at night. And he's not vicious at all. Maybe the shark just wanted to hang out.
Maybe he did.
I hated that guy too. That's why I ate him. Hello, I'm a shark.
Hi,
My name
I'm a
is
shark.
Tim. Hello, I'm a shark. What are the sharks' names in Finding Nemo? One of
Oh,
them's Bruce.
fuck, I don't remember that. I'll look it
One of
up.
them's definitely Bruce, and one of them's voiced by Eric Bana.
Really?
Who, incidentally, I don't know if I talked about this when I did it, but in the middle of last year or something, I got the 4K of that Ang Lee Hulk movie with Eric Bana as Bruce Banner.
It rules, right?
It's it's pretty great,
Right?
man. It's pretty fucking great. Yeah, like you go back to these things, and I rewatched it around at the same time I rewatched. They did Blade at the Astor. Blade's like just the tits, man. That is such a good movie.
Yeah. That film is the only film where the green in the Hulk is so bright, it makes me so happy.
It looks great. Like, everyone's like, oh, it looks like Shrek. I'm like, well, you fucking don't know anything about anything.
And it looks like Eric Bana as well. Insane.
They've done the work on it, yeah. But I mean, they've kind of done that with Ruffalo. And don't get me wrong, like, I like the portrayal of the Hulk in the Marvel movies. And by the time you get to Ragnarok, he's quite green and stuff. And I like Smart Hulk and all that stuff. Hulk's one of my favourite Marvel characters, really. It's definitely my favourite Avenger. But yeah, there's something about the OG one. Here we go. This is a 1 in a million shot. Come on. Yang, 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 yang.
Now that's it. Is that a real shark?
No. That's a fake one. Amazing. And just to look on his face. He's so great, Roy Scheider. He's just, I believe him. I fucking believe him. And you hear that sort of low rumble is is pulled from an old dinosaur movie from like the 1950s or something. That thing. And they use that when the truck goes over the cliff at the end of, spoilers, at the end of Duel. Spoilers for a movie that's like almost 50 years old. And that's kind of like he's marrying that DNA back to this film. So cool. A hooper! And I love this. He sees him and he's like, oh, fuck, it's you. And you're still alive. And he just says Quint and he just shakes his head like, nah, man. He fucking got it. But to be fair, it's kind of a dick to sharks. So
Yeah.
he had it coming. It'd be like if every time you walked past the hairdressers in your street, you just opened the door and went, fuck you, and shut the door again. And then eventually, after months and months of doing this, the hairdresser stabbed you.
Or
kind of your fault.
even better,
It's kind of your fault.
even better, there's a spider that's made out of wigs that comes and kills you.
That's made out of wigs. Wigs. Wigs.
Yep.
Like you put on your head that's fake hair. A spider that's made out of wigs. Hang on a minute. We need to talk about this. We'll come back to that. Hang on. I fucking love this final shot. They're sort of paddling away. You can see land there, which is really, really intentional. It's like, all right, they're not too far away. And he's like, I used to hate the water. I can't imagine why. Like, what a beautiful sort of old style Hollywood ending, swimming off into the sunset, so to speak. Just amazing. Into the school of birds. School? Flock. It's a school of fish, Regs. Whatever. We're on the ocean. And that's it, friends. That was Jaws. And you can still see them there.
Yeah.
Swimming. Coming back to the ocean. I fucking love it. It makes me want to go to the beach. I know that sounds really stupid, but like to be standing on that beach right now would be amazing. I love this movie so much. Thank you so much for joining us for the commentary track. I really hope you had a great time. If you'd like to hear more commentary tracks, if there's something specific that you might like to hear us talk over, even though we really didn't talk about Jaws much, talking about all sorts of other shit, please hit us up in the comments. We'd love to keep doing these, do them as every now and then. There you go, live footage shot by Ron and Valerie Taylor. That was the two Australians who got that amazing footage. Yeah. Anyway, we really hope you enjoyed this. And before we go, let me just come back to what you said there. The spider, why it's like being attacked by a spider made of wigs.
Yep.
Why? I don't know why. Help. Can you help explain that, please? A spider made of wigs.
Oh, weird. Something weird that came into my mind and I said it.
Yeah, but I mean, like hang on. My idea was, okay, so a shark killed Quint because they were the shortest credits ever. A shark killed Quint because he was fucking with sharks for years. And then my adage was like, if you insulted your hairdresser or a hairdresser for a long period of time, eventually you would try and do that again and get stabbed, right? And you're just saying a spider made out of wigs?
Okay.
Or a spider, maybe it's a spider masquerading as a wig and you put it on and it bites you.
No, it's a giant spider like in the Lord of the Rings made out of wig, but the wig is made out of the hair that the hairdresser cuts.
Oh, I see the thread you were trying to needle there, or the needle you were trying to thread rather. Right. That made no sense, sir.
I know.
But I love you for it and I appreciate you. What's the name of the spider in Lord of the Rings?
Shelob.
Shelob. Yeah, fuck that scene. That's a good movie.
Daddy.
Is that in the last? Is that the second one?
That's the third one.
That's the third one. Yeah, that movie is... I'm going to go back. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed that, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for a couple of extra minutes to hear us fucking try and explain what the hell that was. But, if you're a fan of the podcast, you've come to expect stuff and nonsense. So... Addy, thanks for sharing that with me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, man.
I hope you had a good time with your fucking weird off-brand Toblerone. But I love you, and let's do this again soon, man. Let's do another one. I reckon Fellowship's a great idea.
Yeah, Fellowship's a great idea. We could do an extended edition Fellowship, and then because that's the only extended edition I would recommend for new viewers because there's a lot there. Yeah, and that's they're easy to access as well. People that's the default for people. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to watch the extended edition. What, I'm a fucking some sort of working class pleb? Fuck you. I Lord of the Rings, motherfucker. Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe we'll do one every sort of 3 months or something, like one every quarter. But yeah, in the meantime, thanks again, folks. Take care of yourselves. Go and enjoy Jaws 2, perhaps. And remember... Stay amazing, stay safe, and go have a swim. But be careful. That's ballsy. Yeah, because there's all sorts of sharks and shit. Much love.